Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. Just want to start by saying we are out here in Texas and it is very windy and it's very loud right now. So our little bat-eared fox friend might jump around a little bit. So she's just getting used to just being out here with us right now. We're trying to get her to come closer right now. She's just trying to figure it out. And then we'll go over her and tell you all of your fun facts for her. But I just want to let everyone go ahead and join us. Calm down. It's going to be fine. It's going to refresh. You're going to find the live feed. And then we're going to get started, okay? So I'm Dr. East. So thank you everybody who joined with us for the giraffe. We were so thankful to have almost 500,000 people have viewed that video. That's just a crazy amount of people, and we're just super thankful for the opportunity to be able to share these amazing animals with you guys. And so today we're out here. We are at TGR Exotics, which is in Spring, Texas. So we want to say a special thank you to Gwen and Troy for allowing us to come out here and showcase some of their amazing ambassador animals. They are really good friends of ours, and all the animals out here are absolutely incredible. So again, that's TGR Exotics, and I'm Dr. East. And the awesome guy behind the camera is my husband, Ian Turner. So thank you, Ian, and thank you, Chris, for having us out today. One question I got from a lot of you at home is how do you become a veterinarian? And so I wanted to answer that quickly while my friend here tries to lick me. Hey, Sherry. Okay. So in order to be a veterinarian, you have to study very hard in school, kids, okay? So show of hands, how many of you, I asked this last time, but maybe we have some new faces out there. How many kids out there want to be a veterinarian or an animal doctor? So raise your hands, raise your hands. I wanted to be an animal doctor when I was little. And so I figured out that you have to go to school for 8 years of college. So that's a really long time. So you have to go to undergrad. So you have to study 3 to 4 years of undergrad, depending on how quickly you can get it done. I took the 4-year route. And then after you graduate with your undergraduate degree, then you can apply to veterinary school. And so I went to veterinary school at Texas A&M, Giga Maggie's. And there's one of the best vet schools in the nation, but I'm also super obviously biased about that. But I went there for 4 years, so I spent 8 years at Texas A&M getting my degree. I also did some specialty work in exotics, which is how I got into this field of doing what I do now. So that's kind of a background of veterinary medicine. At the very end, we're going to get some questions going, hopefully. So please, kids, if you have questions at home, let's save them for the end, and then parents help them type them in, and we'll be happy to answer those. So our first friend here, who's super interested in Ian because she thinks that he has the mealworms, but I do. This is Sherry. So if any of you guys raise your hands have ever seen Black Panther, she's named after Princess Sherry. And so our friend here, she is a bat-eared fox. And so you can definitely see where she's got her name because her ears are so big. And so she's actually a young fox. She's only about 6 months old. And so this is a new place for her right here. So she's just checking out the smells, seeing what's going on, because they have a very keen sense of smell and obviously hearing. So everything is very exciting to her right now, and she's just checking it out. So she'll come back over here for some mealworms in a minute because she really likes these. But I'm going to have Ian go ahead and show you her over there. And so what do you guys at home think that those big ol' ears are for? Huh? Do you think it's for smelling? No. What do you think she uses those big ears for? Who has a guess? Do you think she uses them to hear? Yes, so not only can she use those ears to hear predators, so anything in the wild that might be trying to come and attack her, she can also use these ears to hear insects in the ground. So, Sherry, look. All right, so she can use these ears. She'll put her nose to the ground like she is right here in the cracks of this little gazebo here. She'll put her ears to the ground and she'll sniff. So in the wild, she would put her nose down and she would smell like she's doing right here. And she would smell these in the ground and she would dig, 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 dig. And she would use her ears to be able to hear them underneath the surface of the ground. So her ears are actually about 5 inches long when they're adults. So hers aren't that big yet, even though they're already pretty big. So they use them. She can hear everything that's going on out here. So you can see she moves her head really quickly when she hears new noises. And she can also smell a lot of cool things underneath here too. So, hi Sherry. And so actually their diets consist of mostly what? What do you think that their diets mostly consist of in the wild? So raise your hand if you think that they eat insects. Raise your hand at home if you think that they eat meat. And raise your hand at home if you think they eat fruits and vegetables. Okay, everybody technically got it right because they do eat all of those things, but mostly about 80% of their diet is actually insects. So they're considered insectivores. So she obviously likes these mealworms. This is her first time getting these today. So she's really enjoying those. She's still over here smelling. And so their diet primarily consists of insects. On occasion, they will eat some small mammals, but really they primarily like to eat the insects. And so the cool thing, if you can show, let me see if I can get her over here. So watch her mouth move when she's eating these insects. So bat-eared fox have an incredible capability with their mouths. So their mouths have so many teeth. So who can guess at home how many teeth a bat-eared fox has in their mouth? All right, who thinks that they have 25 to 30 teeth? Who thinks they have 30 to 50 teeth? Who thinks they have 50 teeth? If you said 50, you are correct. So a bat-eared fox can have anywhere from 46 to 50 teeth in their mouth. She says there's lots of smells. You want some more mealworms? And so these smells, these teeth, help them to chew up insects extremely fast so that nothing can escape. And so they can actually open and close their mouth 5 times in 1 second. So I want you guys at home to try this, kids, okay? So I'm gonna give you 1 second and I want you to try to open and close your mouth as fast as you can and see how many times you can do it, okay? Ready, set, go. All right, could you get 5? Probably not. So they have this incredible adaptation that allows them to eat a lot of different insects. So in 1 year, a bat-eared fox, she thinks Ian's sneaking up on her. A bat-eared fox can eat over 1 million insects. They primarily eat termites, so she can eat 1 million termites in 1 year. Hi, I know, go get that mealworm. So 1 million, I want you guys at home to do the math on this later, okay? So write this down. If they eat 1 million termites a year, how many termites do they eat every single day on average? So I want you guys at home to go and do that, and I want you to comment it in the section later. And I want you to use it as part of your reports that you're all gonna do after this. And write down some fun facts, but I want to see the math and I want to see you guys put those brains to use for the bat-eared fox and our really cool facts. Also, let's see, they can run super fast. So they have predators in the wild. So in the wild where they're from, which is what country? Also, the friend, our giraffe is from there. Who guessed? Africa. That's right. So they're from Africa. So southern and eastern Africa is where the bat-eared fox is from. And so the animals that will hunt on them in the wild or prey on them is your cheetahs, your lions. Remember we talked about the lions with our giraffe friends. So they will actually prey on the bat-eared fox. However, the bat-eared fox can run, I almost said drive, they can't drive. They can run extremely fast. So if they can outrun a cheetah, how fast would they have to be going? What do you guys think? I know. All right, so a bat-eared fox to outrun a cheetah would have to be running 70 miles an hour. So just to give you a reference, that's about how fast your parents, or some of your parents, maybe a little faster, drive on the highway. So that's super, super fast. And also, just for reference, the fastest human in the world, Usain Bolt, can run 28 miles an hour. So that means a bat-eared fox can run 70 miles an hour. That's pretty crazy. And so they use their feet to dig in these termite mounds. They use their big ears to find their insects. Their ears also serve a super cool other purpose. And if you guys were tuned in to our giraffe talk, and if not, it's fine, you can go back and watch it. What do these ears do for the bat-eared fox that the spots do for the giraffe? What do you guys think? All right, so remember the big T word that we used last time? It was thermoregulation. So these ears help to cool them down in the heat. So they have these big vessels in the back of their ears that help to cool them down. And so they, like our friends the giraffe, have used this to be able to cool themselves down in the wild. They are nocturnal, so they like to sleep during the day. So in a hot day like today, they would be sleeping, and then they would come out at night. So they do change it up a little bit in the winter, but that is primarily what they do. So what questions do we have out there, Ian, about the bat-eared fox? And her name is Shiri, and she is about 6 months old for those of you who are just tuning in with us. And my other favorite animal is going to be next, so don't worry, all of you that saw the cool picture, we still have that other animal for us to do after this. So what questions, Ian, do you have any about the bat-eared fox?
Are they a cat or a dog?
Great question. So they're actually in the canid family. So they're going to be more closely related to your dog species than to your cats. So they're not pets, so they're not going to be like a replacement for a dog or anything like that, but they are closely related to your dog species. What other questions do we have out there?
Do they like other foxes or are they solitary?
So they do like other foxes. They usually live in like family groups. So they live in groups of about 10 to 15. And then in the wild, the males actually will watch the babies, which are called kits or pups. And the males will watch the kits and the pups while the mom goes out and hunts. So go mom. So the mom goes out and she forages, she gets food, just like your mom goes to the grocery store. So maybe sometimes your dad watches you while your mom's at the store. Same thing for the bat-eared fox. The male will watch the babies while the female goes out and gets food. And the gestation, so how long they're pregnant for, so a lot of you guys were really interested in that about the giraffe, is about 2 months. So a lot less time than the giraffe, which was about 15 months. So they're actually a lot less, so about 2 months. So not a super long time.
And how long do they live for?
So they live, on document we have about 6 to 13 years. And so that is what is out there scientific literature wise, is that about 6 to 13 years is the thought. And they do live longer in captivity. Hey, Shiri, look, Shiri. Let me see if I can get her to come back over here for our mealworm. Ooh, come here, Shiri. You want to show them your mealworms again? Okay. All right, are we ready to move on to the echidna?
I think so.
All right, so we're gonna get Shiri into her little kennel area over here. So I'm just gonna open this one and let her back in there. Ian, if you'll help me. All right, hi Shiri. I know. All right, so we're gonna open that door for her. Oh, I can open it. I'm just gonna let her in there, Desiree. Yep, thank you. All right, so Shiri's gonna go in here with Desiree. Great. Shiri, come on. You want your mealworms? Look. And then we're gonna get our friend out, the echidna. There it goes. Good job. Good girl. All right. I'm just gonna leave her in there with you. Oh, okay. Okay, you got this. All right. Okay, so our next animal is from a country that Ian and I both super love. So I'm gonna have Ian, he's gonna be embarrassed about this because I didn't tell him. So before we get started, I'm gonna tell you the name of this animal. It's called the echidna. So kids at home, I want you to say that with me. Echidna. Echidna. Okay, so this animal is from a country that's super awesome because we really love it. It's where Ian is from. So I'm going to have Ian give you his best impression of two very common phrases that come from this country. And let's see if you guys can guess them while I get them out, okay? All right, Ian, go.
G'day, mate, and crikey.
I think you need to say it with a little more oomph, Ian. I think that you need to give him some more spirit fingers there. All right.
G'day, mate, crikey.
All right, so what country is this from? Who can guess? Raise your hand if you said Australia. That's right. I can't even open a box. Got it. Okay. So this animal is from Australia. And Ian and I have been lucky enough to be able to see one of these in the wild. So these animals are incredibly amazing, and they have some really cool things that I'm excited to share with you guys. So, okay. All right, so this is an echidna. Can you see how excited I am? And they are a very special animal. Not just because of how they look, but because of some amazing adaptations that they have. And you can see a lot of them right now. So I just want you guys to take a good look and say the word echidna with me so that anytime you see this animal, you'll know exactly what it is, okay? All right. So I want you guys to raise your hands if you know, if we're a guess, because you don't know, if this is a male or a female. So what do you think? Do you think this is a boy or a girl? Are you a boy or a girl? All right, so raise your hand if you think it's a boy. And raise your hand if you think it's a girl, because it's actually very difficult to tell. And sometimes you have to take a quill off and send it off to be sexed by DNA. And so this animal, Gwen just told us today, so Gwen from TGR, who owns these animals, told us today the big reveal. And this is a female. So she's a female echidna. So they're from Australia, like we talked about, and as you can see, they have these amazing quills on the top of their bodies. So very uncommon for them to, they don't shoot them. They don't shoot these quills. They will sometimes shed them, but they cannot shoot the quills. So that's a very common misconception, and they're not related to what animal do they look like that we have in North America and in Africa. They're not related to these animals, but what do they look like? So raise your hand if you said porcupine or hedgehog. Desiree's raising her hand. So they look like a porcupine or a hedgehog, but they're actually not related to the porcupine or the hedgehog at all. They belong to their own special family, and there's only one other animal in this family, and so who knows what that animal is? It can swim, and it's really well known throughout Australia, and they're very rare as well. Raise your hand if you said platypus. Yes, so their close relative or cousin is the platypus. So a platypus looks like an echidna, but it doesn't have any quills. So it's like an echidna with no quills. So as you can see here, they have this beak. This is a short-beaked echidna. So even though the beak is really long, they also have 3 species of long-beaked echidnas, and those are from Papua New Guinea. So that's the country right above Australia. And so the short-beaked echidna is not classified as endangered, but we use the information that we learn about them to help us study their relatives, the long-beaked echidnas, because they are critically endangered. And so we have this incredible adaptation with these quills. So when a predator comes along to try to take the echidna, which would be, I mean, pretty risky, right? You'd have to really be like feeling yourself if you think you can take out an echidna. But what they can do to adapt is they bury themselves in the dirt. So as you can see, she was in the dirt earlier, so she's still shedding a lot of dirt out here, and it's all over my hands. But they'll bury themselves into the dirt, so then just their quills are sticking out. So when we had those fires in Australia, the echidnas they were able to hide in the ground, and some of them can actually survive fires that way. So a really cool adaptation for them to stay away from predators. So their quills are on the top side, and on the bottom side they actually have hair. So they don't have quills on the bottom side. And so another amazing fact about the echidna, and this is probably one of the coolest facts, And hopefully you guys at home will be able to share this with your friends. So I want you to quiz your friends who didn't watch, quiz your parents later. There's only 2 mammals that do this thing, and it's the echidna and the platypus. And it has to do with having their babies. She's trying to run away. So what do you guys think that it is? Who knows at home what the echidna and the platypus both do with their babies that makes them so unique? So raise your hand if you knew that the platypus lays eggs. So there's only 2 mammals in the world that lay eggs, and it's the platypus and the echidna. They're in a family special called the monotremes, and those are the mammals that lay eggs. So an echidna will lay 1 egg, and the egg will incubate for 10 days. And then the egg will hatch, and they'll incubate it for about 10 days. It'll hatch. That baby will crawl up into a pouch, which you can't actually see it now, it just looks like a little belly button. But the baby will crawl into the pouch where it will live for about 6 to 7 months. And so that baby, when it's born, I want you all to look at your hands and look at your thumb. Look at your thumbnails, okay? That's how big the echidna babies are when they are born out of the egg. They're the size of your thumbnail or the size of a jelly bean. They are extremely small. So you're never gonna look at jelly beans the same, are you? The other cool thing about the echidna that they can do is they actually do not have nipples. So they don't have teats and they don't have nipples. So the way that they nurse their young is they secrete a liquid in their glands, and the liquid milk comes down their quills, and the babies drink it off of their quills like that. So, I mean, that's amazing. So it's another adaptation that the echidna has in order to take care of their young in the wild. And so, as you can tell, I'm very excited about the echidna. And so let's go back to their beak. And so for their beak, come here, little baby. And this little girl's name, before we realized she was a girl, so we've been calling her the Niffler. So does anyone out there watch Harry Potter or has watched the movie Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? So that's one of Ian and I's favorite movies. When we went and saw it, we both looked at each other and we were like, this is our life. Like, we love animals and exotic animals, and we work really hard to try to save them and study them. So we felt like that movie was really important to us. So we told Gwen and Troy about it, and we said, hey, there's this animal in this movie called the Niffler, and that is what we decided we were going to name her. All right.
What do they eat?
So they also eat insects. So they eat ants, and they can eat termites as well. So they eat about 40,000 insects a day. So a lot of insects. And so as you can see, they have these claws, and I'm going to show you. So the back claws and the front ones, they are special adaptations for digging. So look at these front feet right here. So you see these claws, and then look at those back ones. And so when I put her back down, I want you guys to look at her back feet. So they're backwards, and that's supposed to be that way. So that's so that she can dig. All right, so she uses these claws to dig and dig, so she can upset a termite mound and eat the termites out. Their tongue is about 7 inches long, and it is sticky on both sides. So it's like if you put sticky tape on both sides of your tongue, which don't do that, and you were to try to pick up or eat something, and you can pick up a lot of things with having a sticky tongue on both sides. The echidna doesn't have great eyesight, but they have electroreceptors in their beak that allow them to feel things under the earth. So another animal that you think about that has that is also the shark. So they're able to feel their animals or their prey underneath the surface. So as you can see her walking around, she's super cute, and she's exploring with her beak. The beak and their paws or their claws are super, super powerful. So there's actually been someone out there that says that, who had an echidna, a researcher who said that the echidna was able to move his refrigerator at his house. She's a small echidna, she's not a full-grown adult, so she wouldn't be able to do that, but she is very strong. So even just picking her up, you can feel the strength of her pushing. So they are super, super strong with their feet and also with their beak. And then if you want, like, for feeling what she feels like on there, she feels like if you were to take your hairbrush and touch the back of it, but she's a little bit more pokey than that. So I'm gonna see if I can get her back over here. Okay. All right, so for lifespan of these guys and girls, they can live about 54 years because they have a super low temperature. So scientists believe that that has helped them to live longer because their temperatures are so low. So it slows down their metabolism. Do we have any questions about the echidnas yet? I'm sure everyone is hopefully loving them as much as we are.
They want to know if the beak's hard.
The beak is actually not, it's hard on the outside, but it's not, like, it's kind of hollow feeling when you touch it. So let me see if I can get a close-up of your beak. And then she's got two little things on the top of her beak here. So it's like a little snorkel because echidnas do swim. So she can swim and she uses this little beak as a snorkel.
A lot of people are wondering about the box, why she was in the box.
So we took her from her enclosure to here in the box. So she does not live in the box. So she lives in a dirt enclosure. She's got a big, nice space. And so she's just out here because we had to transport her here in the box. And I didn't want to have to carry her all the way from the front here. So we put her in the box. And we also didn't want the fox to mess with her. So we put her in the travel box. So she does not live in the box.
And I don't know if you said it, but when do the babies come out of the pouch?
The babies come out of the pouch at about 7 months old. And then when they come out, they're like these little fluffy looking echidnas. They're starting to get their spines, but when they're born, they're actually born naked. Oh, look, she's gonna climb over them. So they're actually born without their quills. And then as they start to come out of the pouch, they'll start to have their quills at that point.
Okay.
All right, are we getting any other questions about the echidnas? They're incredible. They're super fascinating. They're one of my absolute favorite animals because they're so rare. There are some zoos that have them, so if your local zoo has an echidna, please go out and support after this quarantine is over. I'm sure they would love to hear all the amazing and interesting facts that you learned about an echidna. What other questions do we got?
I don't know if you mentioned it. I think you did, but are the quills or spines, are they venomous or are they?
Nope. So they are not venomous. So the males and females do not have any venom. And so they do have ears. I don't think I mentioned that. They have little ear flaps so they can hear really well. So right here you can see one of the ears right there. And so they eat insects. I saw a question about ants and termites. And so they can eat about 40,000 a day. So that's a lot of food. So here they eat an insectivore diet. And then they use their super long tongues to slurp it up. Okay, so we're gonna have some Q&A. So right now I want you guys at home to type any questions that you might have, and we're gonna try to answer some of those for you. It can be about what is being a veterinarian like. We'll just do a couple of them. If you have questions about the echidna, about the giraffes, about the bat-eared fox, we'd be happy to answer the questions that you guys have.
A couple about the echidna. What are their predators?
Predators. So in the wild, really, like the dingoes, maybe like feral dogs will try to eat them, but again, because they have such a good protective measure of the quills, the reason why the long-beaked echidna is critically endangered is that they are eaten by natives in Papua New Guinea, and so they will be hunted as a delicacy there. So that is why it's so important for us to research and study the short-beaked echidna so that we can know more about the long-beaked echidna and how to treat them better. And also, I took my shoes off because they were loud and clunky and I didn't want to scare the animals, so I normally also wear shoes. So, hi. I know. It's crazy. All right, what other questions do we got out there? I'm so
Do they have tails?
They do have tails. So this is her tail right here, and it has oh, let me see if I can get her. All right, so that's her tail right there. And she also looks like, I meant to say this earlier, she looks like she could be a real life Pokemon. And so I'm not like a super Pokemon person, but I know a lot of you guys out there are, and girls. So I want you guys to go and look and find out what Pokemon does the echidna look like. And I want you to share that with me because I would really like to know what a real life Pokemon an echidna is. So please let me know. I actually have no idea. So those of you out there that love Pokemon, please share that info with me. I would love that.
They want to know what your favorite animal is.
So my favorite animal is the rhino. I did some research on them, so I will always love them. But I think the echidna has really kind of stepped up in the role just because of how cool they are and all their adaptations. But I really love all the animals, but rhinos are like, I mean, super one of my favorite animals in the whole world.
Okay.
What other questions do we got? No? All right. So if you guys have questions, please comment them below. We'll do our best to try to get to your questions and give you some answers. Thank you to Chris Field for doing this. Thank you guys at home for watching and for your parents. Thank you. Please, if you write reports or if you draw pictures or if you answer any of the questions that we asked today, I would love to see the drawings, your pictures, what you learned. So please leave a comment here, or you can go to our business page, Exotic Wildlife and Veterinary Services, and you can tag us there and you can post on there and show us all the incredible things that you've learned. Also, special thank you to TGR Exotics for allowing us to come out here and to use their animals as ambassadors to teach you guys about the importance of wildlife conservation. So again, recycle at home. Even the smallest bit can help all the animals in the world. And we're super thankful, and thank you guys so much for tuning in with us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. And tomorrow they're going to be at the fire station with a real firefighter, so please be sure to tune into that and share with your friends. So when we're done here, share the link. Maybe your friends were busy or they forgot and they weren't able to tune in, so go ahead and share this with your friends or anyone with kids that might like to see the adventures of some of these cool animals. Again, tag us, comment. We'd love to answer any questions that you guys might have. So we'll see you tomorrow at the firehouse. Bye.